And that way we can continue. When you're working on it, of course, you don't need to turn the mid-range around like this. I just have it on a small table so that I can walk around it very easily. Same procedures. Nice thing about working on the top block, you don't have foil contacts on your mounting blocks to worry about. You just have to make sure that your foil tabs are all cleaned off. Get all of the residue and an extra adhesive off of there. Sometimes you'll find, especially if speakers have been in a house near salt water, you'll find some corrosion on the foil. And now again, I'm sticking the foil tabs down on the left and right ribbon traces, and I am making sure that they do not cross over the yellow divider and touch the center path. Now I have those two connections pushed down, they're flattened down. I take the clamping block with the wide-spaced screw holes, and line those up by hand. Now I've just snugged one side down, snug the other side down, lightly hand tighten. It's tight, but it's not so tight that I'm actually stripping the screw hole out. There we go, that's nice. And again, pretty much the same way I dressed the foil tab at the bottom, I'm going to push this foil tab down and off to the side, make sure I don't tear it over here. This time, oh, by the way, be careful of using ferrous metal tools, because the magnets are strong and it will pull it in. I'm cheating. There. Now that's pushed out of the way, and the last foil tab goes across the center path. I'm going to point something out here. This is very important. These two left and right foil tabs really should not extend past the edge of this clamping block, because you don't want to take the chance of this shorting to either one of these. It would basically disable at least one, if not two, of the traces on the mid-range. So now that I know that that's not going to short out, I place my foil tab across my center path. I leave some foil tabs sticking out past the back. My narrow-spaced clamping block goes on the top. The only tricky thing about putting this block on is making sure that you hold on to the mid-range frame as you're screwing this down. Otherwise, the mid-range might tend to get away from you and slide away. It's happened to me before. And push this foil tab out of the way. That dresses that and makes it nice and neat. Now it's time to check the impedance of the mid-range, and that is done across the bottom two foil contacts on the bottom clamping blocks. And the value of the mid-range, for example, if this were a Duetta mid-range, it would be between 2.35 ohms and 2.85 ohms. This is a caliper signature mid-range. The impedance of the caliper signature should be 2.0 to 2.5 ohms. That's a good safe range. Make contact with the front clamping block and the rear clamping block, and this one is 2 ohms. If the DC resistance of the unit were too high, that might mean that one of these contacts is a little dirty still. You may have to take one of the blocks off You just go through and troubleshoot, make sure that all of your connection resistances from clamping block or foil tab to the ribbon, make sure they're very low. If you see something, if you see one contact resistance that's higher than another, that would be the place to take it apart, clean it, and put it back together, or check the resistance over again. Last but not least, it's time to put silicone between the ribbon and the foam support near the top of the mid-range. Doesn't take much silicone at all, so in this case I'm taking some from a larger silicone caulking tube. This is a straightforward silicone RTV. We use the GE IS 800 series or the 808, either one is fine. And a tool that helps make this much easier. It's a very simple business card. Slide that between the ribbon and the frame and lightly just turn the ribbon off to the side. I'm taking a small piece of plastic strapping material to use as a tool to carry the silicone, and I actually just take the silicone and draw a very small line of silicone across the top of the support. It doesn't need to be very much because you're only lightly tacking it in place anyway. And make sure that you have an even line of it from one side to the other. And making sure that you don't smear the silicone onto the front side of the ribbon. Just pick the ribbon back up with the business card, lay it down on top of the foam support, very lightly press down on it, center the ribbon so that it's even between the magnet walls, and wait for 20 to 30 minutes, and the mid-range is now ready to bolt back onto the woofer frame. Finish the wiring at the bottom, making sure that you get the proper color coding of the wires to the top or the front and rear bottom clamping blocks. The wire color coding is different from speaker to speaker, but that information will be in with the instructions for each speaker. Then put the front cover back on and it should be ready to go.